Welcome to Bookwood. Hi, I'm glad you chose to spend some time with me. I'll take you on a walk, again through our countryside to enjoy the nice fall surroundings we have going on. And I am taking this halt to talk to you about the next book I have read for TBR Harvest. So I say the next because this is vlog 2. You can see the first books I read in vlog 1. The book I want to talk to you about is Brasier, which is the first book in the series La Sorcière Noquel by Ines Eck. This is a French-only book, I am afraid. I listened to this book since we had it in our Audible library, and it is a book that is in an urban setting, and it is like a paranormal fantasy. We will meet Ali, who lives in the United States, and she is 25 years old. She has a little flower shop. She seems very normal, but she isn't. She is the one and only heir of the witches family Noquel. She inherited her father's power over fire. This is not so normal, since normally these powers go over from father to son, and she has a twin brother, but he didn't get those powers. This embarrassed her family, so they didn't taught her how to use her magic, and they just tell her, just hide it because we are going to get in trouble with the Council of Witches. But she doesn't control anything. Every outburst creates huge fire problems, and so her family decides to send her off to England, where her uncle, her father's brother, is the director of the principal of a school for magical being children, so witches, werewolves, vampires, stuff like that. And when she arrives there, she thinks she's just going to hide, but no, she has to become a teacher. And she will meet her colleagues. One of them is a vampire, is the prince of the vampire family of Iceland. She will fall heads over heels in love with him, and she will have this very direct approach to that. She would say, like, don't touch my future husband and stuff like that. The writing style and the dialogues are very funny, but of course we're going to get on an adventure. Apparently there is a war between the two vampire families that are left, which are the ones from Iceland and the ones from Romania. And Ali is slightly manipulated by the vampire prince of Iceland to join their forces and to go combat the vampires of Romania. This first book is an introduction. It very feels like it. We have like all that leads up to the events that are going to be told in a book 2. So there is not much I can tell you more about that. It was funny. It is not my favorite type of book, but I did have a good time listening to it. The second book I want to talk to you about is again a book that is not translated to English. Don't worry, there are others for this vlog. And it is the second installment in the manga series La Sorcière aux Champignons. I will put the name of the author somewhere because I can't remember it. And I talked about the first volume in my previous vlog. And this is a fantasy world, and it's clearly stated it's a parallel world to ours, in which there are witches with powers, and we are following the Black Witch, whose particularity is that where she walks or what she touches grows mushrooms that absorb all kinds of toxicity of the world. We got there. And in the second book, we will learn a little bit more, but not so much more than in the second one. But I felt that the story in itself really started. I was even more intrigued by it. I also already read the third volume, since the library gave put a hold on the three first volumes for me. And the third I liked a little bit less, because we dived a little bit more in stories from the past, and it was a little bit more confusing than the two first volumes. But I will definitely be reading the rest of it. The last book for this walk, but not the last book for this vlog, I hope, is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I listened to this book, and I must say that I was a little bit disappointed. So I really loved the premise of this young woman trying to escape a marriage that she doesn't want to, by making a pact with what is not clear, like an ancient god or maybe the devil, that she could live her life free. And in order to be really free, he made it that way that one, she's immortal, and two, everybody forgets about her as soon as she's out of sight. And we will follow Addie through the ages, learning how to cope with this, what she called malediction.
A curse.
With this curse. Thank you, Tilia. And we will end up in our time, 2014. It's not that long ago.
11 years.
For me, it's not that long ago. Maybe for others it is. And when she will meet a young man who also
Made a pact.
Yes, he made a pact, but maybe we're not going to tell that. She meets a young man who does remember her, and so she's very drawn to him. They fell in love, and we will follow how not only their relationship develops, but also we will follow how Addie finds out why this young man does remember her. And it sounded so maybe even whimsical and intriguing, and in the end I have the same feeling as I had with the Shades of Magic trilogy. There is a lot being told, a lot that feels to me like avoiding the point, and to me the book could have been shorter and it would still have the same effect. I was again waiting for something more spectacular to happen, but we still kept this little stream quivering through the fields instead of the maybe wilder river that I was hoping for.
De la situation est enfin là pour vous révéler le ou les coupables. Vous m'avez bien aidé dans les recherches. J'ai annoté ici toutes vos remarques. Cela fait donc des mois que Monsieur Merlin, des mois.
As promised during our walk, I read 2 more books for the TBR Harvest readathon, and the last one I finished just in time to be able to count it. And I wanted to talk to you about the first one that I've read. That was for a cozy read for me, and that was The Star Above the Hills by Angela Funk. It is the second book in the the World Beyond the Horizon duology, and I am very happy that I could fit this in so soon after reading the first one. So I planned out to read another book for this prompt, but that never came in from the library. So I replaced it with this book. What is great that I could read it so fast is because the first book ends like straight in the middle of the story, and it's a little bit sad to leave it that way. And so I was also afraid if I couldn't read it quite quickly that I would lose the train of thoughts that were in this book. So in the second book, we just continue the adventure. If you didn't saw my review on the first part, you can find it in my previous vlog. But to quickly summarize it, it is very loosely based on the atmosphere of Alice in Wonderland. And in this world, there are 2 very strange planets that are menaced to collide and to destroy each other. And we will meet a girl from one planet and a boy from the other planet, and they together set off trying to prevent this collision to take place. So in the second book, we had the characters and the little group around them has gathered some clues to how effectively stop this collision to happen, and they set out to do that. And what was very interesting is a lot of the thoughts that come along with this ending or not of the world and what is the right thing to do. It is very difficult to really go in depth of it, but I can tell you that we will continue on the whimsical Alice in Wonderland type of atmosphere, and I thought that was really fun to read, but it did take away a little bit of the stakes of the story. You never really feel the danger of like everybody dying, but maybe that's also something that makes this story the story that it is. The last book that I read, which is also the last book that I set out to read for this challenge, is the first part of Dragon Keepers by Robin Hobb, which is also the book that I planned on reading for the 5th Salon. So it's the first book in in English, the City of the Ancients, of the Elderlings. So it's a new series within the saga in which we go back to the Rainlands and we meet a quite new cast of characters. I had a little bit of difficulty getting into it because these new characters I was expecting to slightly, maybe like in the books around Fitz, to pick up with the same characters maybe a few years later than the events of the previous trilogy, which was the Life Ship Traders. But no, we are getting to know a bunch of new characters, and it was not easy getting into. I think also since the books in French are separated in 2 or 3 volumes for each English volume, it is difficult to really talk about one because the story just continues in the next book before really ending the English version. So in this first part, we meet those new characters, we get to see how the Rainlands have evolved after the events in the first 3 books. And they are quite different than what they were before. And we will slowly see arriving all the characters that will take place or will play their role in this trilogy. Or I think it's 4 books even in English. And more than meeting them, we do not do. So there is not much I can tell you about it more than that. I think that in this book we will definitely go on some more adventures even than we did in the last Life Ship Traders, and I think we will see more of the Rainlands than of the merchants of Bingtown. And I'm quite happy to explore these mysterious forests. With that, I have read all the books I set out to read for the readathon, and I finished them really just in time. I hope that you enjoyed watching this vlog. Before I leave you, I will maybe tell you a little bit about the images that I will have added in. So the first one is in the library of Vence, so the library we have most of our books from. They organized, again in this Fureur des Lyres project, a mystery game in the library. So there were several characters from several books, like Maigret, and we will talk more about Georges Simenon in November. There was the Queen of Hearts, there was Merlin, and Merlin lost his magical wand, and we went looking for it throughout the library, talking to the characters of these very known books to find out what happened to this magic wand, and it was all closed up by Detective Maigret with at some we call it an apéro. I don't really know how you call an apéro in English, but it's like the drinks and the little snacks you have before a meal. And we did that. It was a lot of fun. And you also have some images from the library in Andenne that organized in the same building of the library. We have 2 musea. One is about the prehistoric period, because we have a cave with some remains of a little girl that is part of the andenne town. It's a little village just to the side. So they have a museum about that. We have a museum about ceramics, for which our region is very well known. And in these two museums that are in the same building, they have organized a Halloween event in which we could visit the different collections. And then on the level of the library, they organized a storytell hour for the children, and I made you some images of that as well.
Mais quelle surprise! Derrière la colline, Marceline découvre Pétronille et toutes les autres sorcières sur la place du marché, les raconta et les montra. Depuis que le premier des 13 enfants enlevés, Jules
I hope that you liked these little views into the activities we did this month, and I hope to see you next month. See you soon!